Okay. Hello and welcome to this show podcast. Today I'm interviewing an international student who's doing his research in wound healing, mechanotransduction at University of Queensland. The topic for today is how international students make it to Australia. This will give ideas of how any international student can come to Australia. Hi and welcome, Shiva, to this session.
Yeah. Hi, Nandini ma'am. Happy to join you in the meeting in discussing how people can come to Australia for their higher studies. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Shiva, can you please give an introduction about yourself?
Oh yeah. As I said, I'm Shiva Muthuswamy, and I recently started my higher studies in University of Queensland after a long procedure and quarantine. Yeah.
So, where do you come from?
Yeah. I come from India. I did my bachelor's and master's in South India, state named Tamil Nadu. Then from there, I was applying for various university for my higher studies. Then I got then I applied for University of Queensland also, and I'm here presently.
Okay. What course have you chosen?
Um, I did my bachelor's and master's, and after that I was working for a while for 2 years, and I wanted to do my research. That is a PhD in my field. So while after my master's, I for 2 years I was applying to various university, contacting different professors, and likewise I contacted a University of Queensland, one professor in University of Queensland, and that's how I got in University of Queensland.
Okay. When did you apply?
Uh, um, I applied in the early of 2020, that is in the March of 2020, where at that time this coronavirus was not there. So during that in the month of 2020, I applied, and I did my what you say, the interview process all in the month of April and May, and that's when the lockdown and all started. And after my interview, they asked me to apply through university and write the exam for my scholarship. So I applied in the month of 2020, and after a long, like 1.5 years, actually I was able to come here.
Okay. Very good. While you applied, were you aware of travel ban?
No, when I applied in the March of 2020, I was not aware of this travel ban. I thought it will be a usual process, and maybe in like within 3 or 6 months, I thought I will, if everything goes fine, I will be in the university. But unfortunately, this pandemic happened, and all went in what you say, the lockdowns happened, and yeah, I didn't expect this travel ban, and it will take 1.5 years to join the university.
Okay. How did you process your visa, and how much time it took?
Yeah. So like in the March 2020, when I applied, and I did my interview in the month of April. After that, I have to I had to apply through the university. When I applied through university, actually when they interviewed me, they told me they are planning to take me in the month of January. But when I applied through the university, since because of the what you say, the lockdowns, travel ban, and all, the university were not able to give me the certificate of enrollment. So it took pretty long time. Like I got my certificate of enrollment only in the month of what you say 2021 yeah, April first week I got my certificate of enrollment of 2021, which is pretty 1 year afterwards I got my certificate of enrollment, and only after that I will be able to do my visa. So after I got my COE, I started to do my visa thing. So that took another 3 months, and where like even I was not sure whether they will give the visa immediately. So in the month of April, I started to do my visa, like writing the SOP, um, and doing my insurance, and giving the bank details and all. And I have to wait for like around 15 to 20 days. And then I got my visa. So I got my visa in the month of what do you say, April, May, June. Yeah, in the month of June, I got my visa, and I had to enroll in the month of July. So yeah,
What
I
is,
got
yeah, okay, keep going.
yeah, I after 2 months, like I got my visa.
What is that SOP you were saying? SOP?
Yeah, that is a statement, that is called statement of purpose. So in that I have to like write about myself, why I am doing like a high degree of research in Australia, why I want to do in Australia. And even if I do like PhD, where I will be benefited, and do I want to go back to India or stay in Australia, that kind of things I have to mention in statement of purpose. And basically what I have to cover is like why I have to do a PhD in the field of that bioengineering, that I have to mention.
Okay. How did you apply for travel exemption?
Once I was done with my visa in the month of June, I was working at that time, and like I was working at that time, and even after I got my visa, I didn't leave my job immediately. So during that time, after my visa is done, I contacted my what you say, the admission, the liaison officer in the university. So I mailed her that I got my visa. So what is my next process? When I mailed them, they informed me that I have to apply for exemption. So only after that time, if the exemption is approved, only after that I will be able to travel to Australia. They have mentioned that. So through them, I came to know about travel exemption, and I went to the website of Australian Border Force website, and in that they mentioned clearly like who are all permitted and under what conditions they are permitted to enter Australia. Like that they mentioned that. So it is a like what you say. It is of they will. So once we apply for travel exemption, they will take 14 full days to verify our all the documents and all. And after that, only if it is very much necessary that we have like our presence is very much necessary, they will allow us to enter. So I
Okay.
applied under the condition of what you say, in the critical skills, where since I'm a student over here, I thought my research skill will be helpful in the field of research for their economy boost up and all. So I applied under critical skills, but my first application of travel exemption got rejected, because during that time there was a spike of second wave in India, and India was pretty much listed as in the red list category. So my
Oh,
travel
yeah.
exemption got rejected.
Yeah. So
And
you were
after that,
not allowed to enter now at that
yeah,
time.
so I had to come and enroll in the month of July, but my travel exemption got exempted. Sorry, my travel exemption got rejected, so I couldn't join them. So I mailed this to my university that I applied and they rejected it. Then again they had to defer my certificate of enrollment to the month of October. So they deferred it, and with that I contacted one of my friend in who is studying in University of Queensland, and traveled in the month of March. And when I inquired them, they said that I have to apply um, under the compassionate grounds. So and some other additional letters I have to get it from the department, and then hopefully I will get my travel exemption, they said. They suggested. So by getting, I again emailed, I contacted my license officer, and I requested for some of the additional letters stating that why my presence is important to the university to conduct the research. Like stating that I got the letters from my director of my department, and with that I applied under compassionate and compelling grounds. And basically the documents such as what you say, visa, the
Yeah.
letters from the department, and
Mm-hmm. Okay.
vaccination letters, and my passport, all I have to submit it. And when I submitted it after 14 days, I was waiting for my exemption, but it was I didn't get my a response by 14 days. It got prolonged for another week, but at the end of 3 weeks I got my exempt. And it was stated that I am exempt from the I got exempt, and I will be able to travel to Australia. And like within the and before 72 hours I have to take my PCR test, and I need to quarantine once I enter Australia for 14 days. Like that they have mentioned. So that's how I got my travel exemption.
Okay, so that's how you got your travel exemption after making sure that
Long.
your presence is important for this research, and your research
Yeah.
is very valuable here in Australia.
Yeah.
So you must be exempted to travel here. That's very nice. So you're a clever man. So how did
Oh yeah.
you secure your flights tickets and how much it cost?
Previously, I forgot to mention that even people were waiting, like master students who went to India before pandemic, even they were not allowed to enter Australia, because the government thought they are not that much important for the current situation. So it was pretty like some of my friends, like friends who were doing masters in Australia, they were not able to enter Australia, and people were waiting for nearly 1 year, I think so. And they were repeatedly applying for the travel exemption, but their exemption got rejected. I know one of my friend whose exemption got rejected 5 times, and after that he was allowed to enter Australia. I came to know this news through one of my friends and all. So yeah, it is pretty horrible for the international students who went back to their native country to come back to Australia. That was pretty bad. And yeah, coming to your present question, like how I secure my flights and all. So um, once I got my travel
Sorry,
exemption,
can I interrupt you?
yeah.
So why did the other students who applied they couldn't come here? Are they going to come here or not?
Uh, No, till now the travel exemption is there, I think so. So till now they were not allowed. That's what I came to know through my friend. Only when travel exemption is lifted and travel ban is lifted, they will be allowed, it seems. So they are continuing their courses in online itself. So that's what I heard through my friends.
Oh, they are doing masters still. They haven't
Masters,
finished.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They
That's why
haven't come.
yeah, that's why the government thought maybe since they have options to do it in online, they thought they might not be required in Australia. So they rejected their exemption. But in my case, where in my case, only if I am in Australia, and since I have lab works and all, I couldn't do it in online. So they thought my presence is important for the research to take place. So they allowed me, I think so, in my case.
So those people, masters, your friends are doing their masters. They are doing research also. They are just doing master. They
No,
haven't
no.
joined research yet.
They haven't joined
Jo-
research yet.
Okay, okay. So they are still completing their master. So once they complete, and
Masters.
then they have to apply for a travel exemption like you, and
Exemption.
then and they must make sure that their presence here and their research will be very valuable here for Australia. All those things they have to prove like you, and that's when they can come here once, and then get the exemption, and then come here.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah. But
yeah, okay.
recently I came to know like it was published like from December 1, the people who are entering to Sydney, they don't need a travel exemption, and if they are vaccinated, they can come to Sydney. I came to know, but because of the Omicron variant, they again deferred that news. I think so.
But
So I don't know. Maybe in future, NSW is thinking to what you say, omit the travel exemption plans and all. So
no,
I
so
don't know.
New South Wales, NSW, New South Wales, only students can come to
Um,
New South Wales, Sydney and Melbourne, because there the travel ban has been exempted. Anybody can come in from overseas, but
yeah,
in Brisbane, in
in
Queensland,
Queensland it's
it's
not that.
different.
Yeah.
It's different, and still the ban is there, so international people cannot come here. So it's very
Oh,
sorry to know that even if they come to
mm,
Australia, they cannot come to Queensland to study.
Queensland. That's very.
Yeah. So how much did it cost for you to come here, and how did you secure your flight tickets?
Like once I got my travel exemption and all, I was checking various airlines, like a prominent one, like what you say, Emirates, and like some other 2 3 Sri Lankan airlines, like that. I was checking, but I couldn't. When I contacted them, they said all the seats have been booked till December, and the cost of the flight was pretty high. Like I had to secure only. They were saying only business class is free, which costs around 5 to 6 lakhs. And this is because like they told me passengers, only 30 passengers per flights are allowed to enter Australia, like that they told me. So I was enquiring various airlines, and even I was enquiring various agents who secure the flight tickets to travel. So I was contacting nearly for 20 to 30 days continuously, contacting them. Is there any other way? They were saying there were no direct flights to Australia. They were also not able to secure the flights and all. So then after like a long struggle, after 10 days or 20 days, I came to know like some people are traveling to Australia in an indirect manner, like going to Japan or going to what you say, some other places and coming to Australia. So I came to know like people are traveling in this way. So when I suggested to the travel agent, like is there any other way, like going to Australia in an indirect manner, then he suggested me some other routes, like going to Dubai and coming to Australia. But that also costed pretty much. And I was, he said, they said like only business class are available, and even that was costlier,
But
like pretty, like around 7 to 8 lakhs it came, since it was an indirect route. Even its flight ticket was higher. Then when I was keep on contacting every people, I came to know one of the travels called Gora Travels, and they are like what you say, arranging flights to Australia through they are having a tie up with Malaysian Airlines, and an indirect route, like I have to go to Kuala Lumpur, and from there I have to come to Perth. So since I had to come to Brisbane, initially I was contacting whether I could get flights to Brisbane, but they said there are no flights to Brisbane, and only I was able to secure a flight ticket to Perth. That too, from Chennai, I have to go to Kuala Lumpur, and from Kuala Lumpur, I have to change another flight and to Perth. So I got a flight to Perth through Malaysian Airlines, and it costed me around like $6,000 Australian dollars, and so immediately when I came to know, I secured one of my ticket over there, and there were like procedures where I have to take my PCR test before 3 days of my travel. I took that, and there are some additional documents like G2G pass. If I am entering Perth, I have to fill that G2G pass and all. So I completed that procedure and gave it to my travel. Then they allowed me to travel. I carried all my documents to them on the day of travel. They will verify it, and if anything, any of the document is missing, then I won't be able to travel. They were insisting. So this was a pretty what you say, I have to do all the document very carefully without making any mistakes. And I gave my what you say PCR test a day before of my travel, and it also become negative. So I was allowed to travel on the day of like October 8th.
So PCR test is for the COVID test. You mean
Yeah.
you gave the COVID test in Perth?
No, in Chennai, I had to take one, and again, once I enter Perth, I have to quarantine for 14 days, and after the second day of my arrival, they will take my COVID test.
Oh, okay. So in Perth again. So what is it?
Yes.
G2G? G2G pass?
G2G pass. G2G pass is like I am informing the Western Australia government that I am an international person coming to Perth. So they will, once I apply that pass and all, they will come to know my date of arrival. So they will plan for the quarantine facility. So they will allocate me a quarantine facility. So without that, they won't be knowing that I am traveling.
So it's
Yeah,
like an
this is the thing.
ID for international student. G2G
ID
pass.
to enter Perth. Yeah,
ID to enter Perth. Okay.
Perth.
So the why you said you came through Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur to Perth, and then to Brisbane. So there was no ban for coming from Kuala Lumpur to Brisbane.
No, no, no,
Travel
no,
ban.
no. No, because there is a travel ban for Australia, but I only entered the Kuala Lumpur airport and I changed my flight. I didn't go out and all. So in that situation, there is no need for what you say, getting another additional documents and all. So
So
since it was a transfer, it's not a problem.
So you directly coming from India to you cannot to Brisbane, you cannot come, so you went straight to Kuala Lumpur and Malaysia, and from there you were able to come into Perth.
Perth,
And then
yeah,
Perth you were doing 14 days quarantine, and then you entered to Brisbane
yeah.
because you had a special exemption of your research is
Australia.
very valuable for University of Queensland. Here you were allowed to
Yeah,
enter after 14 days of quarantine in Perth.
yeah.
Okay, I got the point. So how did you secure the cost to come here?
Mm, okay, secure the cost, like it was around $6,000. So I had to take help from my relatives and all. So at that time, they were what you say, kind enough to help me, and that's how I secured the flight immediately when I came to know.
Very good, very good. Everybody is kind in this world. Okay, on the day of travel, what are the formalities you had to complete? On the day of travel, what formalities you had to complete?
Yeah, I will be concise in this point. Like there were two documents. That is, one is like a COVID negative PCR test I have to take before 24 hours, that one, and another one G2G pass, which I mentioned previously. That is to inform the Western Australia government that I am traveling to Perth on this particular date and this particular flight details and all I have to give. And this thing and the travel exemption which I got from Australian government, I have to take the printout. All these three documents are important for my on the day of my travel.
Okay, the PCR and what is the second one?
PCR, travel exemption, and G2G pass.
G2G pass, those were the necessary ones. And third one, you said?
Third one is my travel exemption, which I got from my Australian border force,
Okay,
Australian government.
very good. So, how was your travel?
Yeah, my travel like usually to Australia from India it is around 18 hours I heard, but my flight took around what you say around 21 to 22 hours. I started by 12 of October 7 and reached here by around 9 o'clock of 8th 9 o'clock. So it was around that thing. So initially by 12 o'clock I started. I reached Malaysia overnight, and from there we had to wait for another 3 to 4 hours in the airport itself. So they provided us all the amenities like lunch, dinner, breakfast, and all they provided, and then we took our flight from Kuala Lumpur and we reached Perth by around night 9 o'clock. And immediately after when I landed Perth, Australian Border Force they verified all our documents, and from the airport they took us to the quarantine facility, which is I was quarantined in Pan Pacific Perth. So they took us from the airport to the hotel.
Okay, that is very nice. So, how many hours of total travel? You said 20 hours, is it?
Yeah, around 2021.
20, 21 hours. Is this your first time traveling in a flight? And is this the first time you are traveling so long? And how did you feel the jet lag?
Yeah, as you said, that this was my first flight. I was pretty as it was my first place. I was a little bit afraid, but initially after the takeoffs and all, it was nice. So I had a good time in my flight, and after getting down, yeah, since it was a night in Perth, I had some jet lag, so I immediately took a rest. So not much, a little bit rest was needed, so I took it in Perth.
So you were aware that your flight ticket, if you are in transit, your flight ticket, they will give you a food token and everything. If you are there for that 4 hours, you were in the Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. So that you knew already that the 4 hours your ticket will have a free food and refreshments. Were you aware of
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My travels, that is Guara Travels, they mentioned clearly all these procedures and what all amenities they will be providing. They mentioned clearly in a document. So yeah, I was informed previously that there will be what you say, a transit time of 4 hours in Kuala Lumpur, and they will provide all the amenities they mentioned me.
Okay, so you were having you enjoyed your free lunch and free food there, and you relaxed there sometime, and you felt like you were just your jet lag was getting a little bit better for you there, hopefully.
Yeah.
So this after you reached Australia, when and where did you enter your quarantine?
Yeah,
I think you said Perth. Is it Perth you entered first into
yeah,
Australia?
I entered Perth. from there, I was taken to Pan Pacific Perth. Actually, there are some 2, 3 hotels, I think so, in
Mhm.
Perth where people are getting quarantined. So for me, they allocated Pan Pacific Perth, and per like
Sorry, come again.
it
Time. What is that? Pacific?
Pan Pacific, Pan Pacific
How do you spell
Hotel,
it? PAN.
PAN,
Pan
Pan
Pan Pacific
Pacific.
Hotel.
Yeah, yeah,
That's where you were quarantined. Okay.
quarantine. Yeah.
Yes.
So for a family, they will give a room, and if I am a single person, they will give a room. Basically, in that room, I shouldn't come out for any purpose, and they will provide me lunch, dinner, and breakfast. They will keep it outside my door, and they will knock the door and go. And after they go, I have to wear the mask and open the door and take my food out.
Okay.
So
Okay.
basically, no service person will enter my room, and I also shouldn't to go outside the room. So this was the rules told to me. And on the day second, they will take an COVID test, and the 13th day they will take a COVID test, and both the test should be negative. Only then they will be allowing me out of the quarantine.
Oh,
So
I
this
was
was the
about
procedure.
to ask you about that the test. So my next question was about, I was about to ask when did they take the quarantine, but you answered the second day and the 13th day they did the quarantine,
Uh,
the COVID test again there.
COVID test and all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So that.
and the menus like breakfast they will give around 8 o'clock, and afternoon lunch they will provide by 1 o'clock, and night dinner they will provide around 6 o'clock. So it will be a diet preference. Initially when we are entering quarantine, they will ask our diet preference, so we have to tell our diet preference, and they based on that they will provide us our lunch, dinner, and breakfast and all. So it was that.
Okay, so I understand that you're coming from India, Chennai, Tamil Nadu, South India, and you eat that rice and sambar, rasam, curry like that. So, what was your lunch and dinner and breakfast that were given to you in Perth during your
Quarantine.
quarantine? Was it sufficient enough for you? Was it did it make you feel at home and did you have some healthy diet like vegetable salads and all those things in your order?
Quarantine.
Did you tell them your preference of rice and everything? What was your food like? What did you prefer to eat?
Okay. I selected my diet as initially a vegetarian. Then I came to know egg is also like belongs to vegetarian. Then I said I don't eat the egg and all. So they shifted my diet to vegan. Vegan. So basically, since I come from India, my we used to take rice-based items and all. So, but here they provided mixed cuisines. Like one day, I will be provided what you say the Japanese cuisine, like where I got sushi and all, and pastas. I got it, but yeah, it was difficult to adjust with the food initially. But there was no option where I could get Indian foods and all. So like pretty, I got you after 2 or 3 days. I got used to that for like the food items. So like okay, but it was healthy in that particular sense. They provided me healthy items like fruit salads and milk and all. So it was healthy, but for me, since I am an international student, it was not what a pretty of my preference. That's it.
Yeah, okay, I got you. So in Malaysia and Singapore, you must have got some Indian food like sambar and rice. What your traditional mother
Uh,
meal. Yes. So how much? Tell us how much and when you have to pay for your bill for the quarantine.
My quarantine, it is different for different cities in Australia that I came through when I was in quarantine. So when I was Googling and all, I came to know Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane all costs around $2,800. Whereas in Perth, it costed me only $2,500. This is what I came to know. So I mean, pretty in that way, I thought my at least $300 got saved since I landed in Perth. And the reason why I chose even Perth is a better place because I had to travel to Brisbane, and if I had landed in Sydney or Melbourne, and I am after my quarantine, I am traveling to Brisbane. I have to again quarantine in Queensland, which was been an additional expenses for me. But since I was in Perth, there was no requirement for me to undergo quarantine in Queensland. In that way, I was pretty what you say lucky, and that was a good option actually. So these
Yeah.
all things, people traveling from international, these all things to be noted, like whether there is an interstate border lockdowns and all, we have to look into that.
Okay, that is very nice. Yes, once you quarantine in Perth, then you don't have to quarantine in Brisbane when you because everything is Australia. That is well understood. So how is your now that you have come to Brisbane and to your Queensland of University of Queensland, how is your experience in Australia now? How long are you in Australia now?
Okay. I came here on October, joined my university by October end, which is of 25th October. And while coming, if I have to enter Queensland, I have to take another one permission. That is what you say, Queensland exemption. I have to apply. Since I was from Perth, I got it easily, and I traveled on 25th of October. I took Virgin Australia flight, and I landed here by night. And I on the next Monday, I joined my university, and they asked me all my quarantine details and all, where I submitted to them, and they said they allowed, they did all my formalities, and I enrolled my degree after what you say, after a pretty long what you say, quarantine and struggle. Finally I was able to join the university, and they told all the formalities for the what you say, enrollment. I completed one by one, and finally I started my what you say, PhD,
Very
and it
good.
was good. All people were helpful. All the people were helpful and kind enough to help me.
Yeah. So, how many of you? How are you? Are you staying in a shared room inside the university, or where do you stay?
I like I have some of my friends over here, so they took a unit, and they had a room vacant. So they are. So I joined with them. So it is like near what you say, nearby to my university, around 20 to 30 minutes far from my university. So basically, I got accommodation in my friend's unit itself.
So you are saying friends, but you don't know about them before you're coming here. So only after coming to Australia, you know that you became friends with them. So initially, when you landed, how was your
No.
struggle to find an accommodation?
No, actually, I knew them previously, and they were the one who were helping me with that exemption, which I mentioned earlier. Like some of the people, one of my friend informed that I had to take some additional documents and all. So these were the person who helped me in my travel exemption, and I knew them before I traveled here.
So how did you knew them from India? Did they? Do you know them from India previously, or how come you say you know them? I don't understand.
Yeah, they were my seniors in my masters, so that's how I knew them. I got their contact details from my professors, so I contacted them, and they were helping me.
So they were your seniors. So now people
Yeah.
who don't know like anybody, any friends, they don't know about any friends. and they come here, and how do they find the accommodation?
Yeah. People who don't have any friends in Australia, like they can visit some of the web platforms, and through that actually if there is any vacant rooms or all, they will be putting up in the website, and we can check our price, the details, the amenities provided by the house owner. We can check all this and even contact them, and they will take and they will show us the room and all, and we can discuss about the rents and all through that website. So yeah, they can use some of these websites for checking the
Yes.
accommodations.
So there is, so after they come here, they check all, you all help them, and you tell them about the websites, and then they go into the website, and whatever is feasible for them, the payment, they go accordingly, choose the stay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. So, um, what's your what advice you give to international student who come here?
Okay. From my experience, I will say we have to. There are some we can use the social platforms such as Facebooks and all, where there are some groups like for example Indian Australians groups and all, where if we join the group, they will put up all the latest news coming up, whether travel exemption is needed, or what is the border rules, that all will be mentioned in the group, and we can seek the co-members help and advice. Maybe there might be some people who traveled previously, and their experience, we can take the experience of them and apply for the exemptions and all. So basically we can use some of these social platforms, and just keep on what you say, in contact with some of the person who are aware of this rules and all.
But basically, if you contact the immigration, Australian immigration, they will be able to help you with the travel ban and everything. You need not necessarily be part of an Indian Australian Facebook group or something. So you can just contact the immigration in Australian government, and you can also come across about these travel exemptions and all these things, isn't it? So that is
Yeah,
another way. That's
we could contact. Yeah. We could contact them. Yeah.
so it's not necessary that you have to be a member of an Indian Australian Facebook group. Okay, now that from the beginning, so you have been studying masters, and you wanted to be studying research here in Australia. So you were looking for help online, and you found out that there is a research thing possibility in University of Queensland in
Sorry,
Australia.
actually
And
I couldn't hear you properly.
can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Now it's
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so I said you were from the beginning. I'm saying just a gist of. Can you give me a gist of the initial stage, like from masters, how you came across, what made you, what was your intuition, how you found there is a place in University of Queensland and all those things. Just a gist of that. Hello, are you there? Hello, hello. Hello? Oh, he's gone. Recording stopped.